feel free to stay off camera, or you guys can unmute yourselves when you have a question or something too, if you have a comment or a question or anything. It was kind of impromptu, and it's a Saturday morning, and I know some people are cleaning and just relaxing or whatever, so there is no need for you to have to do any heavy lifting, but I'm going to walk everybody through our new website because I'm super proud of it. This was a lot heavier lift than I had really expected, and there's going to be more that we expand to as my platform continues to be built on education, right? Health optimization education, education about the current state of our medical slash sick care system, and really teaching people the tools that they need, so you feel empowered to take that control of your health back out of the medical provider's hands and really take the onus on ourselves. Our health and our wellness is our job. When there's a sickness or there's a problem or there's something, then that is where we really lean on medical providers, medical professionals. But I think for too long, we have really relied on the medical system, on our doctors to guide us. And it's no longer time. Our system is broken. That is evident and that is clear. And I love the fact that we have RFK Jr. really leading the way in trying to make the changes. But let's be honest, all the changes that he's making, we're not going to see the effects of these things for a good 30 to 50 years. So we're talking children and grandchildren. Or our grandchildren are really going to be the ones that benefit from that if these things can be sustained. So again, my let me just kind of start a little bit with, yes, we're going to talk hormones, we're going to talk, mood swings, hot flashes, inflammation, all of those things. But let me just kind of give you a little background. Being that I spent 20 years in the pharmaceutical industry, I had a really unique peek behind the curtain, to doctors, to healthcare, to payer systems, to what our insurance covers, to how prescriptions are covered, to how our prescriptions are developed in the drug pipeline. And now, having created Momentum Integrative Health Solutions and partnered with a telehealth platform to bring everyone access to high quality prescription peptides, which are truly next level health. I've gotten a sneak peek behind the curtain look also at the compounding industry, which is uniquely different from the healthcare industry. So let's just take everyone back to the early 1900s when the Rockefellers decided to get their hands into our American educational system and our medical system. This is when we started seeing the closing of all women's colleges, the shunning and the um, defamation, I guess, campaign against holistic medicine, against herbalists, against people using natural remedies and things to heal the healing community, the natural community. They were really lobbied against so that we could develop petroleum-based drug solutions and then take over the American, like create the American Medical Association and ingrain medical professionals and teach them this sick care system that's going to be reliant on the pharmaceutical drugs. I have a pretty I still want everyone to understand I am 1 foot in holistic and natural, but I'm also 1 foot in science-backed solutions. And there's got to be some fair balance, right? If we do not regulate the supplement industry, which honestly we don't, it's not well regulated. There are products that are simply just white labeled and made on a machine one day for one company, and the next day it's made on the same machine for another company. There's cross contamination. What's on the label in our supplements is not always what shows up in the bottle, and what shows up in the bottle is not always listed on the supplement back. They are not definitively amazing products. And PS, even though we know some of these products are good for our bodies, it doesn't mean that there's any clinical data to show that the supplement that you're taking is doing what it's supposed to be doing in your body. And that is not me lobbying against supplementation in general. Our food supply, we know because we don't rotate our crops. We have ruined our soil. We are over pesticiding everything. I don't shame anybody for wanting to take a lot of supplements, but if you find that you're taking a supplement, you have countertop full of supplements or you have a cupboard full of supplements and you still feel like garbage and you find that you're almost getting worse than when you started, here's your sign that we might need to look at a different approach. And I like to use my poor mother as an example because my mother is one who will take anything that her chiropractor and her holistic doctor recommends, and she thinks that's the only thing that will help her. And she's nervous about taking peptides, but she's not taking the stuff that her doctor recommends anyway. And so she still feels like garbage. And I said, if you're only going to do something that goes into a shake and you're not in a point in life where you can make yourself a shake 7 days a week, 30 days out of the month, and you're doing it maybe twice a month, it's not helping you. So you're wasting your money. So you have to get real with yourself in terms of what modalities fit in with your lifestyle. And that was part of me. I sat here in this struggle about 6 months ago, going, I really want to believe everything natural and holistic because I've been clubbed over the head by the all natural wellness world for years, saying pharmaceuticals are bad, everything else is bad, our bodies can heal ourselves, which is true. But I had to realize one day that comfort and convenience are truly key drivers of my personal value system. And that comes down for the type of furniture I have in my house: comfort, coziness, convenience. I will pay someone to do things for me because acts of service are my love language. So if I have a medical regimen or a supplementation regimen that requires me to take 16 different capsules a day, and I know nutritionally, if I only ate whole foods, that that would be very beneficial to me. But my lifestyle is not conducive to cooking and meal prepping and doing all of those things. What I know versus what I'm willing to do are going to be two different places. So I had to get real with myself and realize I probably belong more one foot in the natural bucket and one foot in the science-backed pharmaceutical bucket. And I just want to share that with people. Asking yourselves what is truly most important to you, right? Like, look at what you're willing to do in your world, what you have time to do in your world, and where you want to go with your health. Because we have a huge disconnect between what we should be doing versus what we are willing to do. And part of what we're willing to do is based on we've tried to do things a certain way and we've not gotten the results. So we know that our doctors have grown up educated in a system that teaches them checks and balances. And now that those doctors that came out of the 1950s that were trying to truly follow medicine and protocols, but now there is no free thought in what a doctor is able to do. They're seeing 30 some patients a day, 15-minute visits, and so that they can pack that many clients and patients into the doctors per day so that they can get paid well enough. The parent company, the medical systems that own all of these doctors, they're literally looking at their iPad and they're taking you through a checklist. If you have a question that deviates from the workflow of those checklists, you're kind of screwed. You're going to have to come back for another day. They're not going to know what to do because they have to satisfy a workflow requirement, which is really a medical liability CYA by the parent company. We'll just use Cleveland Clinic, for instance. And it's truly all about their liability. I'm not saying that there are not good doctors out there, but we're finding more doctors in the holistic side, in the functional medicine side, in the concierge world that believe in that strategic thinking, that free thought. But now you're paying cash prices that are very, very expensive. So our medical system is broken. Our doctors are trained to identify a problem and then align you with a pharmaceutical solution. And we know that we are getting sicker and sicker and sicker day by day, the more solutions, air quotes, solutions that the pharmaceutical companies come out with, right? So we can't go all one way. We can't go all pharmaceuticals. Our blood pressure numbers are ridiculously low so that they can put you on antihypertensive. Our lipid profile is ridiculous because we're seeing the rate of Alzheimer's skyrocket due to too much sugar and not enough cholesterol in your body. And we're trying to put people on medicines sooner than they should be, that we're seeing side effects of those incidences of, again, Alzheimer's and neurological diseases more and more down the road. So that's why I truly sit in one foot in each bucket. And I had to get real with myself because I really wanted I wanted philosophically to align to everything natural. And when I came across peptides, they are technically natural. They were technically founded by the NIH and then gobbled up by the pharmaceutical companies. And now they've made their world into the compounding industry as well. Um, a lot of holistic practitioners really align with them because there's something that is in your body that we naturally make peptides. It just we make a lot less of them as we age. And when your body is reintroduced to a peptide, because it has been making it its entire life in some way, shape, or form, it knows exactly what to do with it. It's like your college reunion with a bunch of people that you haven't seen in forever, and you're excited to see, and you walk into a room and you're that peptide, and you're walking into a room full of other, and your body is like the people. It's like, oh my gosh, I know exactly what to do. Like there's so much excitement, right? Okay, great. We're going to go do this. We're just going to take ourselves right back to that day when we were all hanging out together. And that's how your body reacts to a peptide. Insulin is a peptide. Growth hormone is a peptide. GLP-1 that's naturally produced in your gut is a peptide, right? And yes, if you increase your body's Akkermansia, which is a bacteria, that will help your body produce more natural GLP-1. But let me tell everybody here, kindly and softly, but with emphasis, there is no amount of powdery potion natural GLP-1 stimulant that is going to give you the weight loss results that you're seeing people have with peptide GLP-1s, prescription GLP-1s. So are they technically lying that they can give you something that will stimulate your body to make more GLP-1? No, they're not technically lying, but what they're omitting is that it's not going to produce enough to give you effect worth a damn. And what is going to happen, because they're all placed with sugar substances to make these powders and potions taste good and be pretty and make them desirable to drink, they're going to start packing on the pounds. And that's really frustrating. So if you see somebody who's doing it the all natural way and they're drinking a drink that is activating GLP-1 in their body, if they're not already taking the shot in the background and just lying about it, which there's lots of people who do, just be aware, they're extremely calorie restricting and they're spending a lot of time in the gym and they're doing all the things that you've tried to do. And for some reason, their body is responding because they may not be in the metabolic dysfunction. They may not have the hormone imbalances that you and I were having. But they're killing themselves doing all the things. It has nothing to do with that thing that they're drinking. I can assure you, I can promise you, because there's not one person that will be able to show you a clinical study with humans head to head, natural GLP-1 activators versus a peptide prescription GLP-1. And I will go toe to toe with anybody who tries to tell me different. That's why they're not willing to come on and have a conversation with me. None of the people promoting those things. God love them. I appreciate their desire to want to do it the natural way. Their heart is in the right place most of the time. They want to believe it. But like me, they have blinders on. Like I had, they've got their blinders on right now. And that's okay. We're not here for everybody. So I needed to give you a little bit of that background. So our system is broken. This is the time to take your metabolic health into your own hands. There are so many things that you can do at home with getting a body composition scale. Yes, it's expensive, but you're going to have it for years versus a $500 concierge doctor visit. That is one thing that's going to help you to have at home to monitor your health with. Things like I don't have it in my office. That little lumen that you blow into and it measures your CO2 and it tells you whether you're in a carb burn or a fat burn. That has been my best friend all summer long. Expensive, $200 to $300, but it's a piece of equipment that I'm going to have, right? Versus a 1 hour doctor visit. And you can start to see how food is affecting you. Um, so there's lots of things that I'm going to teach people when you come into my world at Momentum Integrative Health Solutions. We're all here because we're tired of doing the same thing and we used to get result with that same thing and now it's just not happening. Our body is fighting us every step of the way. And when you hit that midlife where we're sitting with all the information and all the wisdom and all the expertise that we would have loved to have, like, I don't know one person who says, man, I wish I was 20 years ago. We say we wish we'd have the body of a 20-year-old, but I would not give up the expertise and the wisdom that I have now, right? The life experience. I would never give that up to go back. But I was talking with a woman last night. She's a friend of mine who was the first friend who legit shamed me when she saw me after losing 15 pounds on a GLP-1. She's like, "Oh my God, you look amazing. What are you taking something?" Because she is this beautiful friend of mine. She's a stick, but she does not eat sugar. I'm not willing to live life without sugar. I want moderation. I want a little, she just doesn't do it. She's always been healthy. She commits to that super healthy whole food lifestyle. That's amazing. I would love to be that person, but I also recognize it is not me. And she's in the gym 4 to 5 days a week. Beautiful woman. She's in her early 50s, doesn't have a health problem, doesn't need to go to the doctor. She's done it the right way. And I love that she can do that. It's admirable. I'm just not willing to do the things that it takes to get to that point. And if you are, I'm happy to connect you with some health coaches that can hold your hand to do that because that is not my wheelhouse. But she was the first person in April that walked in my house and she's like, "What are you taking something?" And I was like, I literally, I shrunk down. I was like, "No." Because technically I had just quit the week before. And I had technically the week or two before picked up a weight. And so what did I do? I lied. I shrunk my posture. I was like, "No, I'm not taking anything. I'm just eating better and I'm going to the gym." Which wasn't technically a lie because I had stopped. But I felt so much shame. I felt so bad. And then she came over again last night and she's like, "Damn, girl." She's like, "You look freaking amazing." And I literally told her, this is where I was going with this. I literally told her, "Shannon, I did not look this good in my 20s. I had gone to college. I put on the freshman 15. I was partying my ass off, having a good time. And I was somewhat focused on my health, but I certainly wasn't super active. I was in a different place. I was always small. I have very tiny bones. I can tell you today, I look better. My physique is better. My body fat is down. My muscle is up. And that is because I'm taking peptides. End of story. And I'm doing the things that I wasn't willing to do in my 20s, doing the things that I tried to do in my 30s, doing the things that I tried to do in my early 40s. I'm 46 as of 2 days, 3 days ago. And I look better than I ever have in my entire life. And that is because peptides are natural. Our body knows exactly what to do with them. And I am here to tell you that 90% of compounding pharmacies in your backyard, from the doctors who are prescribing, from the med spas who are prescribing and sending your prescription to a compounding pharmacy locally, 90% of those fail third-party testing. And what does that mean for you if they're failing third-party testing? I'm going to tell you the likelihood that you're going to have an adverse event is still somewhat minimal. Even if they're failing third-party testing, the likelihood that you're going to have because they're still using higher quality product. Obviously, they're not using research grade peptides. That's a whole black market conversation. But what you're getting is watered down product. And that is a fact. And every prescriber that I've ever talked to, and I've talked to a lot right here in my hometown, every prescriber knows that they either use 2 or 3 different compounding pharmacies. Number one, they have to have a couple because of product availability. There's a lot of shortages in this space. Um, they need to ensure that the pharmacy can meet the demand that's out there, and that's why product shortages happen. And they get better pricing from one pharmacy to another. So that does help protect their profit margins. I'm talking about your doctor, your prescriber, who would physically write you a script and send it to a compounding pharmacy, or you go in and you walk away with 4 pre-filled syringes for the month. Um, they get different pricing. They know that each compounding pharmacy offers different product in terms of potency, and they know, yeah, this one's my favorite, but I can't always get product from them. So we have 2 and 3 other options. You're getting watered down product. The only way for you to not get watered down product is to have a prescription and get the branded product from the drug manufacturer. You're not going to get it watered down there. That is consistent. That is full pain, full strength, full potency. But you do not have flexible dosing. It is an auto injector and it is a bitch to get that covered unless you're diabetic. And if you are somebody who is diabetic and you want to try to get it covered through your health insurance, I will help you all day long. I will tell you what the reality is of it, and I will tell you it's worth it to at least have your doctor write a script and see what it would cost you through your insurance if that's an option for you. I don't mind. Most of the time, it's not going to be covered. And then if you want to work with me, I'm happy to do that. But it's still cheaper if your insurance were to cover it. If you come with us, you're getting potency that matches pharmaceutical grade product. This is where I'm going to get real technical real quick. And then we're going to go into like symptoms and effects and how you feel. And we're going to use GLP-1 because that is right now the only branded compound or the only branded product that's going to match the compound that you're going to get through this channel. We're cash only through compounding pharmacies. We have a different dosing schedule to bring some of that intermediate dosing different. And we offer microdosing, which the big pharma companies do not offer. It was not studied that way in their clinical trials. They cannot deviate from anything that was not done in phase one, phase two, and phase three clinical trials that took about an 8 to 12 year process. So they can't make technological changes when compounding pharmacies find that a different stabilizer is actually better for the product formulation. They can't make a change to make a 9 milligram dose like a compounding pharmacy does because they didn't study that years ago. So when you come to our compounding pharmacy, we do match that potency of 114 to 117% that the branded product does. What your compounding pharmacies are doing is giving you just enough. And they usually come out about 102 to 105%. That's almost 10% difference in potency. That's part of your watered down product. Some are even shorting you a little bit in your vials. Some are even shorting you a little bit in the overall product vial. And a lot of that's due to human error. That's because the kid who's doing the filling is not the pharmacist who's doing the compounding at the beginning. And some of those steps get broken down and you're not getting consistent product. I cannot tell you how many people, when they switch over to use our telehealth platform, had been plateaued. They're like, my medicine was working. It's not working so well anymore. We bring them over here and they're like, holy crap, same dose, same strength, and now I'm getting results again. Yes. Yes. That's because we only use compounding pharmacies that are NABP certified. That means they have to be third-party tested. That means their source raw material has to be clean and tested, and they have to match potency along with all of the other systems. Stepping off my soapbox, but those are things y'all needed to know. Anybody have a question in terms of brain fog, hot flash, metabolic dysfunction? You feel like garbage, you need more energy, you can't get rid of the fluff. Let's open it up for a few questions. Nothing.
Sorry, I had to unmute myself. It's Julie. I
Hi,
can.
Julie.
Hi. How are you? Very well said, Danielle. My question is really just to the point in the process. How does it work? Like, is it injection? You're talking injections. Like, how does it work?
Yeah, I am
Yeah.
talking prescription peptides. Right now, I'm holding up an injection, which I actually brought up here so I could do right here in case anybody was a little bit curious about how this works. So
Yep.
you see this one's blue, which is really kind of weird, but this is a copper peptide. This is GHKCU. This stimulates production of collagen in your body. This is a glow peptide. This is amazing. I don't take collagen powders anymore. I don't take marine collagen anymore. I just take this. Why? It's easy. It's not sugary to make it taste good, which, listen, I've never met a collagen gel or drink that didn't taste amazing, right? But if I'm going to take the sugar, I'm going to eat my gummy bears, straight up. So it comes in a vial, which is right here. You draw up, and this vial has or this has your name on it. It's a prescription formulated for you. It is not bulk batched. This bottle was made for me in here with my name on it. You inject 20 units under the skin. That's called subcutaneously 3 times a week for 8 weeks. This is an 8 week cycle peptide.
Where do you inject it?
So
Where?
anything sub-Q is
Okay.
going to be in the, let me see if this screen will, stomach. Anything sub-Q is going to be injected into the belly, into the arm fat, or the fat of the thigh. My favorite places are belly and thigh. There's no chance I'm going to get my thigh up here because I'm on the mat. Pop it in, squeeze it in. It's done. Super simple. I was terrified to inject the very first time. I had my husband's auto injector. I snuck his prescription. I didn't sneak it. He and I did it, but we didn't tell the doctor. And I made him stab me because I was super nervous the first time. I will be on FaceTime with anybody with the first time that you do an injection, and I'm happy to do an injection with you. I make sure that mine are all spread out because I take so many that I am taking at least one a day, so I stay in the habit of it. Um, but it's truly that simple. And I always tell people, like, you can kind of do it so you feel like the finger pinch of your skin really more than the little tiny pinprick of the needle. It's so minute. It's so minute. It's really just
Right.
that first or second time where you're nervous, and then you're like, oh my gosh, this is so easy.
Yes, yes, I agree with that. I have done some injections. So I that's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure that's what it was. So okay. That
Yep.
sounds easy, very easy.
And in terms of process, right? So if you're interested, and this is our website, right? We go to Momentum, we click on our solutions, and I take you down. If you're interested in the peptide protocol, this is where you can sign up to download either the men's or the women's peptide guide for free. And that will come to you. And then here it is. So you know what? We do a lot of talking about GLP-1s because that's a lot of fun to talk about. But let's click on Simorelin. Simorelin it's called a growth hormone secretagogue. It's going to induce your body to produce more growth hormone. The older we get, we produce less growth hormone. The presence of growth hormone in your body seems to have an effect of helping to regulate overall hormone imbalances in general. We don't have studies where it's like, okay, we looked at all of your estrogen, your testosterone, your progesterone levels. We tested your free T and all those things, and then we gave you some Orlin and we retest it. We don't do studies like that. But in terms of effects of things that you're dealing with when we know our hormones are starting to jump around and go a little bit crazy, um, you get better, deeper sleep, your REM sleep. This really does enhance recovery, overall cognition, and metabolism. And this is great for restoring muscle tone for either men or women. It does help to work on visceral fat. And it does, like when you wake up, you're not exhausted, right? So this is really great for recovery. It's great for deep sleep. And I love this because I hear from women specifically all the time. They're like, this is when I started taking this, like this is where I started to see my abs kind of pop when I was in the gym. It's like I'd been doing all that work, I'd been working to rebuild the muscle, and when I started Sirmoreland, that's when I started to notice like my muscles would pop a little bit, and that felt good, right? Like here's what I like. These are experiential products. You take the product, you notice a result, in GLP-1s, you typically notice that result in the first week to 2 weeks. The same thing with BPC and some of the other ones. Your Sermorelin, you'll notice your sleep pretty quick. That muscle pop, I would say you're going to notice in the first 4 weeks. You're going to see that difference that quickly. And that's why I like experiential products. You take it, you notice a benefit. We're not working on a hope and a prayer. So let's click through. Let's pretend somebody would be interested in Sermorelin. This takes you to the LEMD website. LEMD is our telehealth platform. This is the platform that only partners with doctors and DOs who are specifically trained and only work in the world of peptides. Maybe not only, but they're highly educated and trained in the world of peptides. And we only use that NABP certified pharmacy. And again, like I said, we're down to working with two. We are partnering with a third because we're growing so quickly. I just don't know if we're going to drop one of our current pharmacies and stick with two, or we're just going to add the third. But that is how selective we are in terms of our partnerships with the compounding pharmacies. So now, if you're looking at Sermorelin, right, this is basically everything my website told you. So let's click over here and learn a little bit more. You want to see what the potential benefits of Sermorelin are? Enhanced muscle growth, improved fat metabolism, increased energy levels, better sleep quality, and some anti-aging benefits because you're enhancing those growth hormone levels. But if you are really interested and you want to read more about the science, okay, these are hyperlinks. Every once in a while, they aren't actually hyperlinks. You have to copy and paste this into the browser. Um, can growth hormone prevent aging? Let's see. So this takes you right over to the article written and published in the New England Journal of Medicine. It's a very reputable journal. It's published in February of 23. Does growth hormone prevent aging? And you can go down the rabbit hole and research your little heart out if you want to do this. So there's a ton of education. We don't just leave it up to pretty marketing. Are there any side effects of Sermorelin? Let's see. You could have this, they always have to put this in this disclaimer on there, right? You could have injection site reactions like redness, swelling, pain, which usually resolve quickly. That's just from a fact of having a puncture in your skin that you may not be used to. If this continues, I had a client, actually it was one of JT's clients. I was talking through, and she only wanted to talk about BPC because she used to take one of these growth hormone secretagogues from another source. And she said she had to stop it because she kept getting injection site reactions. I said, tell me some more about that because that seems really bizarre. She goes, yeah, I think I might have been allergic to it. And I was like, well, talk to me about that. She goes, well, the first month I didn't have any injection site reactions. I didn't the second month, and I got my prescription refilled and I got it. And then I started, and I said, well, were you rotating injection sites, right? I thought, well, what if she was kind of using the same area and that got a little irritated because I kind of did that once. Um, I didn't rotate often enough. And I was like, okay, but it was apparent that I just kind of used that skin area too much. She goes, no, we were rotating. She's my husband's a doctor. He was actually injecting me and I kept getting redness and swelling. And I'm like, so your pharmacy switched suppliers on you, didn't they? Because she used it for the first 8 weeks and there was no problem. She got a prescription refilled. Pharmacy switched suppliers on her and now she's having injection site reactions. That's a legit thing. I'm like, never use that pharmacy again. Never use that doctor again. You can come here and we're not going to have that issue. And then you go, so again, with this is I'm sorry, this is a 3 month supply. You see price per month is $215. You're all in at 645. You do need to purchase the full 3 month supply. We don't want somebody taking this for a month and saying, I'm not getting the result that I want. I'm not going to give it the full 3 months. That's not how that works. You have to purchase all 3 months at once. And then it takes you directly into your medical questionnaire and intake that is specifically formulated for Sermorelin. This is a 5-page health questionnaire. I'm not going to go through everything with you. Well, we can at least get to um, let's just get to the meat and the potatoes of it. We'll say, I don't know what average blood pressure is. We'll just guess. Um, your second page, you'll get a little bit more in depth. What's your primary reason? And you can really just click on a whole bunch. They even have alternative to HGH therapy. You have fatigue, muscle mass reductions. Have you taken, or you, yes. Okay, they still want, no matter whether you answer yes or no, they want you to discuss this with your doctor. Again, we are not assuming, LEMD is not assuming responsibility for your overall health. You need to have a primary care doctor. They are building a relationship with you and your prescription for this particular medicine. Do you take any of these, right? So if you don't take any of these, we'll keep going. They want you to list any medications, the dosages. Do you have any allergies? Do you have any allergies to benzoyl alcohol? Do you have any allergies to peptides, medications, or supplements that your medical provider should know about? Have you had any adverse reactions to peptides? Have you been diagnosed with hypothyroidism, any other type of cancer or tumor, any growth hormone deficiency or undergone hormone testing, any serious injuries? Do you have any B12 deficiency or absorption issues? Okay, so there's your 5-page questionnaire. Then you'll be asked to pay at the end, and once you do pay, um, it gets submitted to your telehealth provider. You'll get an email that your medical file is being reviewed. You should get a response in 1 to 3 days, and you will have a prescription in your hands, usually within the same week. One of our pharmacies does take about 10 to 14 days, depending on their demand and supply. But you will have text notifications with your shipping tracking, and it is overnighted or 2-day to you in cold freezer packs so that your peptides can stay stabilized and temperature controlled. So that's kind of the process. What other questions might we have?
Thank you, Danielle. I
Yeah, you're
appreciate that.
welcome.
I have to jump off because I have to be somewhere to an appointment, but I'm very interested. I thought your presentation was fantastic. And just reach out to me today. I'll be around.
Awesome.
Thanks, ladies. Have a great day.
Yeah. Thanks, Julie. Thanks for hopping on.
Take care.
JT, you got a question. Take it away, my friend. Oh, you're clapping. Okay. You don't have a question. You're clapping. Thanks.
Well, I'm going to say something if you don't mind.
Yeah. Go right
I
ahead.
just so appreciate what you bring to the community and just how well, you basically explain the benefits of longevity. And so I just wanted to give you a little thumbs up.
Thanks. Well, JT's a doctor. He's a chiropractor. So I take what I will absolutely welcome his accolades there. I want to talk a little bit about BPC 157. Y'all, I did an interview with a woman. She's my age. We went to college together. She lives out in Vegas. She's the most vivacious human being I've ever met. Like, you talk about somebody who's constantly on the go and adventuresome and traveling the world with her kids. Her son is Jax's age. Her son just turned 13. He's been the front man in a kid's rock band for like 4 years. These kids legit get gigs in Las Vegas because they live in like Henderson, right outside of Vegas. And they play and they're good. Like that is just the world that this woman has created. And she's always been thin, a little bit taller than me. And she got rheumatoid arthritis. And she suddenly started to really slow down. Her energy wasn't there. She was swollen, real puffy, dealing with RA. And she was telling me back in the spring she's going to get NAD injections and she loved them, but they only did like a certain, like they got her to a certain level energy wise. But she's like, that's kind of as far as it'll take me, right? But I still feel like crap. I feel better than I did. She takes NAD religiously all the time at the max dose. And so she tried BPC, and the results that she had from taking BPC in terms of reducing her inflammation, in terms of how much pain reduction was there, how much swelling had gone down in the stiffness that she felt in the first 10 days of taking it. This is what we call the Wolverine stack. It was like night and day. I've never heard a story like hers. I mean, I do hear these things, but for someone who is in their mid 40s dealing with RA to have such a fast response from that reduction of systemic inflammation, right? We have two types of inflammation. We have cellular inflammation, which is very different than systemic inflammation. And inflammation is at the root of all chronic disease. And so this made a huge difference in her world. This is a peptide that you cycle for 8 weeks on. You can just take a couple days off and go right into an 8 week cycle. The most you really ever need to take off of one of these peptides is 3 to 4 weeks, but you can definitely do 2 to 3 cycles before you take that time off. And some of our peptide experts truly do say a couple days, and that's about as much as they really recommend for people who really love the results they get from the peptides. The only peptide you do not need to cycle is a GLP-1. That is something that you can continue to stay on, weight loss dose. And then when you reach the weight goal, you can take it down to a microdose, which has a ton of health benefits. They actually just published a study where they looked at um, mice and they injected breast cancer tumor cells in there, and tirzepatide was found to reduce the tumor size by 20%. Now, this is a study just in rats, but that is very, very promising for the breast cancer community. These are cardioprotective. They really do support your ejection fraction in your heart. They are neuroprotective in reducing Alzheimer's dementia risk. They are clearly stabilizers in terms of insulin resistance. Um, they really do help to reverse diabetes. They do turn off your bone density reducing receptors. They do not add bone density, but they do help to mitigate bone loss, which if you spend time lifting heavy weights, you are producing and helping support your bone density. So there's a ton of benefits to GLP-1s, way more benefits than overall risk. They've been out since the early 2000s. And if the safety data was that worrisome, we would have known a long time ago. You're finding safety data concerns because there's a couple of reasons why. Number one, there's a strong black market for these peptides, and a lot of people are ordering these research grade peptides from internet websites. They truly, legitimately say either on the bottle or at the bottom of the website, not for human consumption, research grade only. And people are desperate because they are super cheap. They're not taught how to reconstitute them. We don't know what's actually in the bottle, and they're causing significant side effects due to contamination and due to um, overall just not even knowing if what's said to be in the bottle is in the bottle. It's super dangerous. So that's contributing to a slew of side effects. You also have people taking these GLP-1s through medical providers who are not getting um, the support. So they don't know what they're supposed to be experiencing. They don't know that they need to push their water intake and electrolytes. They do not realize that they're losing weight, and their lack of hunger comes from an increased satiety factor, which happens with GLP-1, but it also slows gastric emptying. So your motility becomes a lot slower. And if you don't understand that you need to push the water to help with gastric emptying, that you do not understand that you need to push electrolytes because you were overwatering yourself. We need to replenish our potassium and our salt. Um, that you can still get dehydrated from drinking a lot of water. They do not understand that they need to rest. They do not understand that they need to push the protein. They do not understand that muscle wasting can happen as a byproduct of rapid weight loss. GLP-1 does not cause muscle reduction. GLP-1 causes quick weight loss. Quick weight loss in any way, shape, or form can cause hair loss, can cause and will cause muscle loss if you're not doing things to mitigate those. Let's talk about hair loss a little bit because I had a client ask me about this. Um, Again, rapid weight reduction can cause your hair to fall out and hair loss. It will stop and it will come back. It is not permanent. You could also be confusing that hair loss with hormone imbalances, with oh gosh, how do they word it? Female pattern hair loss, which may naturally happen to some of us as it is. I tend to have a lot of that. That's why I am one of the first peptides that I ordered was GHKCU because I wanted to support my hair, skin, and my nails. And I would say within the first 3 weeks, I did notice baby hair growth from taking GHKCU. So I got my husband right on it. He deals with very, very thin hair on the top of his head. And so I want to see how his results look about 16 weeks after, right? I don't want to hair grows kind of slow, right? So it's like watching the grass grow, but I'm looking to see if it's really going to be able to help him with his overall hair thinning. Um, and I don't want to see what those results look like until we've done at least 2 rounds of that GHKCU. But we also do shed more in the spring and in the winter, right? We cycle our hair, so you'll find more hair shedding. But if you do experience some hair loss, know that it can come back and it will come back. The shedding will stop, and that you can support your body with the GHKCU as well. How about some questions? Anybody have any additional questions or anything? Anybody who deals with any autoimmune, I love GLP-1s for that. I love NAD for that. I love BPC for that. Autoimmune sucks. I get it. And they all work to reduce inflammation. P.S. None of these are going to fix your cellular rigidity. That's why you will find on my website, under our approach, we really do focus on reducing systemic inflammation. Where are we at? Maybe it's under here. That systemic inflammation does come, or I'm sorry, cellular inflammation. We focus on reducing cellular inflammation. Everybody knows, like it's common knowledge that omega-3s are important, that you should take a fish oil supplement or an omega-3 supplement. I'm telling you right now, if you're not taking this balance oil, throw it in the trash. This is currently the only balance oil on the market that has a polyphenol in it. The polyphenol is what protects the omega as your body is ingesting it, it's going through your stomach acid. And omega-3 is always found in nature. Like when it's found in that cold water oily fish, it's bound to a polyphenol. So you have your omega-3, it's wrapped in a polyphenol. I always like to think of it like those little Chinese pot stickers or like little dumplings, right? Like the inside is the omega-3 and like the little dumpling outer shell, like the happy little thing is your polyphenol. When you extract the omega-3 and you have to go through the purification process to get out the toxins, the heavy metals and all of that, the polyphenol is stripped away. It was not understood for a long time that you need to put that polyphenol back in there to stabilize that omega-3. And part of what that does is now it drives down when it's got the polyphenol in it, it drives down the omega-6. So here's a quick little lesson about health too, since we didn't have any questions. Your body, so omega-3, it's a fatty acid, it's essential. Your body does not make it, your body does need to make it. Omega-6, it's essential, it's a fatty acid, your body does not make it, your body needs to ingest it. Omega-6, we get a ton from seed oils. We get a ton of omega-6 by our ultra processed foods. Omega-6 is predominantly inflammatory. Omega-3 is predominantly anti-inflammatory. We still need our inflammatory response, right? Inflammation is important to heal our body. It's just when you're dealing with a lot of things or you have an overabundance of omega-6, that inflammatory marker, that light switch kind of just gets turned on and it stays on. It doesn't shut off when your body's healed. And then you're dealing with this cellular inflammation. When your cells are too rigid with this inflammation, they can't absorb the nutrients, the supplements, the signals that your body is sending the cells to communicate with one another. They can't process properly, so they're not fully signaling on all, they're not like firing on all cylinders, we like to say. And then they can't excrete, they can't expel the waste that they need. So they can't communicate, they can't nourish themselves, they can't communicate, and they cannot eliminate. And so when you fix that cellular rigidity and that membrane is much more permeable, it's able to do what it's supposed to do. That's why increasing your omega-3 level and driving down that omega-6 level in your body is so, so important. It helps your peptides work better. If you're not balanced at 3-to-1 with that ratio, your peptides aren't working optimally. Your protein that you're ingesting and that you're forcing your body to eat and ingest because you're not as hungry on a GLP-1, your protein will not work at max function if your omega-3s are deficient and you have too much omega-6. That means you're not getting the full benefit out of your muscle build, your workouts. You're only getting about 80-ish%, right? You're leaving results on the table if you are not at a 3-to-1 ratio. That is the safe zone for your omega-6 to omega-3. And that's why that's another thing that I really, really promote. Once my clients get into months 2 and 3, and they're starting to feel a little bit better with their peptides, I'm like, okay, this is foundational. This is what you need. You want those peptides to work max and optimally? Let's go here. We're going to test you with a finger prick, drop 2 drops of blood. We're going to send that blood sample over to Norway for it to be third-party tested. You're going to get that result in about 2 weeks. I mean, they're going a long way, so give it a little while. You're going to start taking this balance oil. It's a small shot, anywhere from like 10 to 20 mLs every single day. It tastes yummy, but it's got a high concentration of omega-3 and it's got a flavor profile with a polyphenol that matches. So the polyphenol comes from a pre-ripened green olive from a region in Spain, and it matches the acidicity. I don't know what that word is, but it matches the acids of the polyphenol that's found when the omega is in the cold water fish, like intact. And so when you have that polyphenol in this balance oil, it's driving down that omega-6, it's increasing, it's allowing your body to absorb and increase the omega-3. We're getting into balance at an optimal rate. We then retest you for free 4 months later. This is not a hope and a prayer. Remember, you heard me talk about supplements. They seem like a good idea, but if you don't feel better or you can't see on a test that it's doing what it's supposed to do in your body, it's exhausting to waste your money. And it's exhausting to try to do all those protocols because we're trying to do all the things and we're busy. So we retest you 4 months later, and 95% of people who take their test who take this balance oil for 4 months, 95% of those people get back into balance at 3 to 1, or they're going to be very close. Our standard American diet does require us to dose up just a little bit. My results were first 24 to 1, and I'm down. I tested it like 2 months because I was excited to see where I'd gone in 2 months, and I was already down to 7 to 1. My son was 59 to 1. He's a kid. He eats either vegetables or sugar. We really struggled to force the protein. He was 59 to 1. I'm waiting any day for his test result to come back because it's been not quite 4 months, and I wanted to see where he is, and I want to know with the oil where he's gotten because I've dosed him up higher too. Questions on peptides or anything? I'm going to let y'all go. It's been almost an hour that I appreciate you spending your Saturday morning with me. If anybody has anything one-on-one too that you don't really want to ask here on the group, you can text me, you can call me, or I can stay on for a few minutes after. Oh, I could probably stop sharing my screen. I just got used to looking at that tiny little block at the top. Oh, we had something in the chat. All the above. How does it help with hyperthyroidism? Okay. Simorlin's amazing. Oh, Tracy sleeps amazing on Simorlin. I'm actually switching, Tracy, from Tessa IPA. I saved the rest of my Tessa IPA for my husband, and I just got Simorlin. I'm going to start it on Monday. So I'm excited about that. It was the Tessa IPA was almost too strong for me. I'm not doing heavy lifting because I freaking hurt my elbow. And so I had to back down what I was doing. And I'm like, I don't need that strong formulation right now. Um, Hypothyroidism. Specifically, I can't tell you, but you will typically what the problem is from hypothyroidism is you're gaining weight, you can't lose it, all of your other hormones are off. You will just see an overall benefit in your blood work after taking GLP-1. You will see a shrinking of your body fat with taking a GLP-1. We have to get you on a dose, right? Titrated to a dose where you feel that you're not really hungry, right? You want that food noise to go away. You want to feel like you're not hungry, which is then going to trigger you to, okay, I need to be intentional with what I'm putting in my body because I'm really not super hungry. So I'm going to kind of plan and prepare for those meals that I'm going to force into my body. But that doesn't happen on month one. We get into that on month two and month three. So it's really about being gentle with yourself, but you will notice your body shrinking and your overall blood work in every category. It's going to get better. I'm sorry I missed the chat earlier. I would have hit on that much sooner before I stepped back into my soapbox. Anything? No? Awesome. Well, thanks everybody. Thanks for hanging with me this morning. I really appreciate you popping on it kind of last minute. If anybody wants to take the metabolic health quiz, it is up on our homepage of momentumintegrativehealth.com. It's a fun little quiz that I put together. I'm really proud of it, but it's right on the front page. It says take the metabolic health quiz or the health optimization quiz. Thanks everybody.